Recall the three games in Super Mario 3D All-Stars Classics would almost undersell them. Super Mario 64 defined 3D platformers in its generation. Super Mario Sunshine is a twist on that formula with a unified vision. And Super Mario Galaxy found a way to change up the platforming while putting a renewed focus on linearity. And all of these games have been discussed to death, with seemingly every secret found. But what if you've never played these games? It's entirely possible with its newest game still 13 years old and Sunshine never getting a re-release. Well, we wanted to take the opportunity to show off 10 secrets and Easter eggs found within the collection, now with a brand new coat of paint. Let's see what's hiding within, shall we?
Let's go!
We'll begin with something completely innocuous, like the butterflies in Super Mario 64. They're cute and they bring a nice sense of nature to any level they're in, whether it's Peach's Castle or Tiny Huge Island. But some of them are hiding a secret, though you might only discover this if you hate nature. It seems to only apply to the butterflies that spontaneously appear out of nowhere, such as those to the right of Peach's Castle or at the start of Tiny Huge Island in its tiny form. In both cases, one of the butterflies will magically transform into a one-up mushroom when attacked. Isn't nature beautiful? But be careful, because in some cases, such as on Tiny Huge Island, the others might turn into bombs instead. Turns out, nature was ready to fight back. It's an incredibly small detail, but maybe worth the risk if you're running low on lives.
Let's go!
Continuing on with the idea of nature, you might notice that there's a lot of dolphin iconography in Super Mario Sunshine. Isle Delfino is shaped like a dolphin, there are dolphin statues all throughout Delfino Plaza, some of the graffiti in Noki Bay depicts a dolphin, and even the name Isle Delfino means dolphin. But why is that? Well, it's not because the Piantas really like the water mammal. It's because that was the original code name of Nintendo's GameCube. It served as a knowing wink that fans could enjoy in many of their games at the time. It's why Olimar's ship in the original Pikmin was called the SS Dolphin.
Let's go!
Speaking of Pikmin, it's possible that there's a reference to those games in particular within Super Mario Galaxy. In Space Junk Galaxy, there's a spaceship that Mario crosses that looks remarkably like the Hocotate ship from Pikmin 2. However, it's not exactly the same, as the paint job is slightly different, and it's missing the speaker and extra boosters from that ship. It's entirely possible that this is just a reference to a normal spaceship, as it is pretty typical. Well then, what about Buoy Base Galaxy? In that level, there's a sphere that really resembles a Pokeball from Pokmon. It even has the button where the Pokeball opens. Except it's also on the other side, so it could just be a coincidence. Well, at least we know this set of star bits, arranged in the shape of a rupee from The Legend of Zelda in Rolling Gizmo Galaxy, has to be intentional. Mario and Zelda do like to reference each other after all. We'll take it.
Let's go!
Returning to Mario 64, there's a reference to the original Super Mario Bros. That you might have missed in your rush to take on Bowser for the last time. In the final Bowser level, there's a set of pillars before the pipe leading to the boss fight. Depicted on each of them is an 8-bit Mario facing off against Bowser himself. It's not an exact recreation of the original battle between the two, but the simple style is close enough that we think it could be intentional. At the very least, it shows how these two have been fighting each other for a very long time.
Let's go!
But, you know, there's one place that just seems filled with secrets, and that's Serena Beach in Super Mario Sunshine. There's at least 3 here to discover, and the first requires a more aerial view. You see, Serena Beach actually forms a GameCube controller if you imagine the base facing the hotel. The right has a series of pools that form the button, the left has a central circle for the analog stick, and the huts represent the C-stick and D-pad. It's not something you can easily spot on your own, but it's absolutely there.
Let's go!
Next up is a pretty common theory that many have pointed out regarding one of the missions in Serena Beach. In the very first mission, Mario must face off against the Phantom Manta, which is just the shape of a manta that arrives from the sea and splits off into smaller forms as Mario sprays them. It's a strange idea, but it might have been inspired by, of all things, Stephen King's The Shining. In the book, a weird shadow-like form is described, saying it assumed the shape of a huge, obscene manta, and then the wind seemed to catch it, to tear it and shred it like old dark paper. There's a lot of things in common here. The manta, the fact that it splits into smaller forms, and that it all takes place at a hotel. It's impossible to tell the true intentions of the mission, but it's a cool coincidence at the very least.
Let's go.
Finally, let's actually go inside Hotel Delfino, as there's a particular Pianta with something fun to say. He complains that the ghosts in the hotel are causing trouble everywhere and wishes that someone could come along and suck them up with a vacuum. This is quite obviously a reference to Luigi's Mansion, but it's weird how much this reference has evolved in the years since. After all, Luigi's Mansion 3 takes place in a hotel. Maybe it was a weird circular inspiration thing? Probably not, but it's fun nevertheless.
Let's go.
This wasn't the last time Mario referenced Luigi's Mansion though. In Super Mario Galaxy, Mario first rescues Luigi in Ghostly Galaxy, which is basically a haunted mansion. I mean, the mission is even called Luigi in the Haunted Mansion. There's no two ways about it. Luigi might be scared stiff, but he's all about spooky mansions. Now, if only he had his poltergust to rescue himself from this predicament.
Let's go.
Next up is a secret that requires a lot of patience. You might have noticed the 3 Piantas lounging on duck rings in Rico Harbor. There's not really a way to talk to them while they're in the middle of the water, so usually a player would just move on and ignore them. But what if you didn't? What if you actually wait for all 3 to make their way close to land so you can actually talk to them? Well, if you do that and talk to all 3, a 1-up mushroom will appear as a reward. It's not exactly a great reward for all the time it takes, but at least Nintendo gave us something for our patience.
Let's go.
We'll end off these secrets with something that's more of a theory, though it does seem to hold some water whether it was the intention or not. The very first boss in the game is a battle against King Bob-Omb. You challenge him, defeat him, and then he's gone for good, right? Well, that might not be the case. While making the climb to King Bob-Omb, you'll notice a pit with 2 balls rolling back and forth. However, this actually changes after overthrowing the king. Once you return to this pit, there's now 3 balls rolling around. Even more noteworthy is that one of the Bob-Omb buddies actually calls him a dud in defeat. So while it's not confirmed, it's entirely possible that King Bob-Omb's fate is to just be another ball rolling in this trap. Could the other 2 be his predecessors? Maybe best not to think about it. But that's only 10 of the secrets that can be found within these games. There are quite obviously many more, but what are some of your favorites that we haven't mentioned yet? Let us know in the comments, and of course be sure to subscribe to Game Explained for more on Mario and other things gaming.